Hey guys, welcome back to Revived, which in today's video, we're going to be doing a beginner's guide for the game. I'm going to try and keep it fairly short, like under 15 minutes, because normally these things drag out, and I will make future videos going deeper into a bunch of these topics. I just wanted to go through everything in the game and give some basic idea of what you're supposed to be doing, and then like I said, we'll go deeper in the future. So the first thing we'll look at is the dolls, team formation, and how everything works. So when you get into the game, you will get to re-roll for like 100 rolls to try and get something. Now, from those rolls, you can get a UR and an SSR, probably the optimal way to go about it, so that you can start with, a decent UR and an SSR to get you started. When you go through playing the game, building 3 heroes is the main way. Now, there's different ways you can go about it. Tank, healer, DPS is pretty safe. On some of the hard stages, maybe you can go tank, healer, healer, because there is no time limit on stages, so you can just go through it as fast as possible. Now, when we look at our characters, we have 2 abilities. Now, you unlock the abilities through the skill tree here. So you'll only start with the basic ability. If you want to look at their next ability, you can unlock it through there. And then we do have a passive on all of them, which comes a little bit later on. You're not going to have the passive for them from the start. So what we have with them is 2 different abilities. We have 2 different bars down the bottom. One will be on the left side, which is the light bar, which is the yellow diamonds. And then we have the chaos bar, which is second skills are always going to be related to the chaos bar, which is the purple diamonds. Now, the yellow ones recharge over time, and the purple ones are generated for every yellow one spent, is the basic way it works, if that makes sense. So when you're doing it, you really want to look at team synergies, being whether you want to build a physical team or a magical team. There's great ones for both. Look at that tank, healer, and DPS thing. The other thing is, if they are all of the same element, for instance, we have here, which is the brimstone, I think it's just fire. If you have 3 of the same element, you will get stat buffs for your whole team. So keep that in mind, but it's not the most important thing to go for. If you can always just go for synergies in your team. The other thing to look at when you're building your team is going to be charge skills. Charge skills are really nice. What happens is every time your team uses an ability, it will put 1 charge into this. Once it gets to 4 charges, the ability will be activated. So it's like a free ability essentially. So that's the basics. I'll do a much deeper video on this stuff, but I just wanted to get the basics across for that. So you're building a team, look at tank, healer, DPS, focusing mainly on physical or magical damage, and then away you go. So when we look at what we want to be doing, campaign is like the main thing you want to progress through. You keep pushing the campaign, and that's pretty much it. You go stage to stage, away you go. There is like exploring in the stages, so you can, find the chest, try and find all the chests. As you get a bit further on, you'll notice that you can sort of walk around enemies. It's probably better to do that, because if you walk around the enemies and don't actually engage in combat with them, it means you get less loot drops from that stage, which means the stage will actually refund you some stamina. So keep that in mind. Campaign, it's your main thing you want to push. If you get stuck, then we go look at other things and try and progress your characters. Now, as we go past campaign, we run into the dream world. Now, dream world is basically just the resources you need for upgrading your characters. We have mana. Now, mana is like the gold in this game. It's really nice the way they do it. Mana is everything. Like in some games, you've got gold, and then you'll have mana, and then you'll have like some magical dust, and then you've got like 15 other things that you use to upgrade your characters. This one's pretty much just mana is your main general currency. Then we have ascension material. This is to ascend your characters. Equipment, which is your gear. And then we have skill material, which is used in that skill tree to upgrade skills. Now with these, this is where you come to farm when you get stuck in campaign in the early progression. However, you don't want to dump too much stamina here until you unlock 6. So in mana, which is going to be your main grind, like just because you need mana all the time, you try and play it really conservative and not grind too much mana from stages 1 through 5, because once you unlock 6, it's the highest tier and it's got the most efficient mana production. So you want to avoid farming mana as much as you can in the early stages to optimize your efficiency there. But if you do get stuck, I definitely had to do it for a while. I had to farm some 4 and 5 just to get that mana to get my characters upgraded. And when we look at characters for upgrading, there's a few main things that we're going to look at. The first being the levels, which you just go up here. It's going to cost you mana to put the levels in. And then we have Ascensions. Now, Ascensions are really, really nice because they give you a massive stat boost. For instance, here, if we go here, my Ascension is going to give me plus 48% health, 16% attack, 16% physical defense, and 16% magical defense. So Ascensions really do buff your characters. So the two main things you're looking at when progressing your characters is leveling them up to max and then ascending them to the next tier. When you ascend them to the next tier, they go back to level 1, but their stats are increased from the previous tier. Not like some games where you ascend, they go back to level 1 and they've got lower stats than they just did. This game is not like that. So those are the two main things you're going to look at. Evolve is only if you have dupes. Skill trees, once you get unlocked to this point, getting their passive is going to be the key thing you want to get to. Past that, it gets a bit expensive for early on. So just focus on trying to get the passives on your main 3 characters. Try not to spread your resources too thin. And then we have gear. For gear, I did the whole campaign just with like purple and the odd bit of yellow gear. As you can see, I still haven't even put this on. But yeah, you can just upgrade the purple gear to 10. You just go forge and you can just hit auto select and then it'll upgrade it. I don't like doing the ascending of gear and stuff like that this early because the gear, it doesn't offer that much in the early game that's really going to impact you when you could invest those resources into just leveling and ascending those characters. So moving on from that, we go back into adventure. And we'll check out the dream world again. Ascension materials, obviously you're going to get to these and you're going to need them. The cool thing about Ascension materials is you can see this one only drops the blue one, this one drops the purple, and this one drops the gold. The nice thing about these is like you end up getting to a point where you don't feel guilty for farming this because this is where you get the purple ones, and then this one's getting gold. If you're trying to do gold ascensions, you sort of want to, it's similar to mana where you just sort of don't want to go too hard into farming gold ones until you can get to 6 because this is going to be your most efficient place. Like you don't want to spend much time farming gold ones from level 3 because it's really, really hurting your progression because it's not as efficient. Whereas farming the purple ones and getting that level of ascension, it's not punishing to you because that is where you get them from. So that is that. And keep in mind when you do come into this one is going to be for Guardian Healer, this one is going to be for Destroyer and Assassin, and this one is going to be for Mage and Compellers. I don't have any Mages or Compellers built, so as you can see, I haven't even unlocked these yet. But that is the Ascension material. Doll equipment is going to be very endgame. Don't worry about farming doll equipment until you're well and truly done with ascending and stuff like that. I still haven't started farming yet, and I've got some Ascended 4 heroes. I feel like you want to build your heroes first before you start stressing about the gear too much. And then skill material, like I said, just get that skill material to go ahead and upgrade. And skill material is very similar in that if we go here, you can see Hall of Fear 4 is not a bad one to farm because you're getting those purple books, and then you go up and you start getting to the gold, but you don't want to farm 3 too much because 4 is a better efficiency of farming those purple books. As we move on from that, we have Dimensional Trials. Now, Evil Returns, it's just going to be like some return bosses that you can defeat through different difficulties and get some free goodies. That's pretty much all it is. Don't stress about this. This unlocks a little bit later on in the game. Then we have the Broken Lands. This resets weekly. It's going to require you to build multiple teams, and you can get some nice goodies every week from defeating all of these guys. And then this is the big one, Chronospace Breach. Now, this is the PvP. Now, the PvP is very important early game. You definitely want to do all your attacks every day because this gives an absolute truckload of experience. I think I've done all my PvP attacks, so I can't show you, but PvP, especially early on, gives you so much experience. It is definitely worth it, even if you don't care. Now, when we jump in here, we do have 3 difficulties depending on like enemy teams and their rankings and stuff like that. So we've got the easy one, the medium one, and the hard one. They're going to reward different amounts of blue orbs, which you can use in the shop to purchase extra stuff. But the big thing early game is you just want to be doing the PvP. But keep in mind, if you do lose, you don't get any experience. So you can also refresh these keys. You can buy 3 extra keys per day, which I think is definitely worth it if you can get some wins. Now, they do cost, I think it goes like from 5 to 10 to 15 of the blue orbs to get these keys. But in the early game, even if you can only do the easy one, I still think it's worth spending the 15 orbs to get 8 returned, just based on the experience that you will get. But as always, if you think you can beat the top ranked enemy, you're going to get more, you're just going to get more out of it. So definitely do it if you can. But if you can't, remember, if you do lose, you get nothing. So it might be worth going to a bit of an easiest stage. But yeah, PvP, very important even for PvE progression, because when we look at things like the mana hall where you farm your mana, if you want to do the final stage of it, you do have to be account level 20. So getting that account experience is super important from PvP. I'll definitely do a more in-depth PvP video, but that is just something you definitely want to focus on. Another thing to look at is obviously everything is going to cost us stamina, and you can refill your stamina. As you can see, I'm pushing really hard. I'm purchasing 10 stamina refills a day, which is the limit. Now they do get very expensive. As you can see, 150 soul to refill your stamina. Now the thing about stamina refills is they're worse at the start of the game and better as you go forward, because they refill your stamina to max, and your stamina max increases with your level increases. So this one, the refilling of stamina is really going to depend on what type of player you are. I'm the kind of guy I'm just impatient. I want to do as much as I can as fast as possible, so I refresh to the max. I don't think many players will do that. Now, I'm not free to play. I've only spent about $30, but if I was free to play, I would be doing this anyway, because that's the type of player I am. I think this is more about enjoyment than actually min-maxing, because, you know, from doing this, I can do better in PvP early, which min-maxes that way, but then other people might say that it's way less beneficial because you're missing out on summons, all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely personal preference. Now, keep in mind, they don't start at 150. I think they start at like 30 or 40 for the refresh. So they start off cheaper and go more expensive. Find yourself a limit that you're comfortable with per day. You might not want to do any. That is fine. It will just mean that you do progress a little bit slower. We then have stamina elixirs and flasks, which you can get. Now, me personally, I do my soul refreshes first before I do these, because maybe I'll do because at the moment I'm at a point in the game where I'm not too stressed about using my stamina elixir. So what I might do is I might wait till tomorrow, and then I'll do all my soul refreshes, and this might get me more an increased max stamina, which then this elixir is going to restore. Instead of say 111, if I get a couple levels, it might go up to 113, 114 stamina. So these reset daily. So if you are doing these, make sure you do as many as you've set yourself the limit for. And then if you want to hold on to your elixirs and also your flasks till the next day or the day after that or the day after that, you are going to get more efficiency out of them because you will have gained more levels. And on the topic of this, if you are going through campaign and you level up in campaign and you're over your stamina cap, for instance, you know, this says, you know, 115 of 111. Campaign is a fairly slow burn at stamina, so if you're sitting above your stamina limit, it might be worth going in and just farming a little bit of resources just to get that stamina cap down, so you can start passively regenerating your stamina. It's the same in every game. You guys get the gist. Next up, I wanted to look at summons. So in the summons page, every time a new banner comes up, you will get a discount summon of 50% off if you use the premium currency. What are they called? Soul. If you use Soul, you get it for 1,000 instead of 2,000. So it's really nice to do those. I'm in a unique position here where I'm waiting for a future banner. So we can see the banner rotation up here. They have like an ongoing rotating banner. And each banner lasts for 2 days. So we're currently on Gorveg. So I want to go for the assassin over here, Akasha. So I've got to wait like 6 more days and then I'll be able to get the one I want. The pities do carry over in summons, and that's why I'm holding off, because I've almost got enough for 104 summons. So I don't want to land the hero and reset my pity. But in most circumstances, you're going to want to do this discount summon when the banner rotates, because it's just cheap summons basically, and it's better for, you know, account progression. Like I said, I'm in a unique position at the moment, and like I said, that pity does carry over. And then we have exclusive summon banners. Now these are like new heroes coming into the game. These are like all existing ones, but the exclusive summon pity carries over as well to exclusive summons, and the awakening summon carries over to awakening summons. They don't cross connect, so just keep that in mind. Soul summons your general banner, but it doesn't have it doesn't share a pity with the other ones. It does have its own pity of getting a UR doll every 80 summons, but you know, it's probably best to be saving for a banner you do want, so you got more of a chance of getting something you're actually targeting in that sense. So we do have up the top the resources. We got these rainbow crystals, which give you a 10 pull. We got these ones which give you single pulls, but you can go ahead and redeem over here. There's a button that says redeem. So if you have 10 of these, you can exchange them to get one of the purple ones. It's just a weird way of doing summons. Instead of it just saying it costs you 10 gold ones, you got to convert it to a rainbow one. It's a bit interesting, but you know, it is what it is. Next up is going to be the witch courtyard. Now, I made mistakes in this along the way. If I had my time again, I would have done this much more efficiently. But I'll do a more in-depth version of this. But this has just got a bunch of different stuff. We've got the villa, which is like sort of a put a hero in there and they gain experience. We've got the mirror, which is like dispatch missions where you can get some resources. We've got the cottage where to do dispatch missions and all that sort of stuff, you're going to have to deploy some of your characters. And they're going to need stamina. And if they're out of stamina, you're going to have to put them back into the cottage, which is like your housing. And when they're in the cottage, they gain that stamina back, so you can then use them on dispatch missions and stuff like that. Alchemy Lab, that is one where you're going to be changing like ascension materials and stuff like that to other ascension materials to keep things more efficiently going for you. And then we do have the Firefly. Now, this one is very important in my opinion. I ignored this at the start stupidly. I think this is the number one thing I would want to upgrade. So with this thing, what you have is you have a set amount of Fireflies, and you can dispatch them to any one of these. And as you can see, I've got 15 dispatched to my blue farming. And what I would do if I restarted, I would instantly dispatch all of my Fireflies onto, you can check the upgrade. I'm pretty sure the early upgrades for this were blue, but if they were white, then you do it white. I'd basically just look at this and say, what does this need to upgrade this? Because by upgrading this, you're getting more Fireflies, which means then you can distribute more Fireflies to the other things, because we're going to need these other, the white light, blue light, and chromatic light to upgrade the other facilities. So having more access to these is the most important thing. So now my first priority every time is just getting this to the max level and just keep upgrading it. Because as you can see, once I get... like at the moment with what I've got, I'm generating 5 blue per minute. Once I get to 1,000 blues, I'll be able to level this up, and that'll give me 30 Fireflies. So it'll double my generation and allow me to upgrade everything else much quicker as well. So if we look here, I'm upgrading my alchemy lab at the moment. Magic tree at the moment, the max level is 3. You get there pretty quick. But then, you know, we can upgrade these other things as well, all the different stations there. So that is that one. Like I said, I made some mistakes there at the start, but hopefully you guys can jump in there and start upgrading that. Just get them Fireflies is the key. And also, I didn't mention it, but with the Fireflies, you might think once you've got everything upgraded, it's sort of pointless. But you can sort of passively level other characters in the training grounds. Because if we go here, this one, you can dump a character in there, and it's going to cost you the blue light to get experience. It's not the most efficient thing at this stage. But you know, you can actually upgrade and get more slots, and then you can passively, you know, level up other things along the way. So that's where your excess Firefly production will go to at the end. Moving past that, we have the Friends tab. Now, the Friends tab, you would just want to go to add search, whatever, and just add a heap of friends. You want to have friends, you want to go ahead and get those friend points, because then when we go to the shop, we do have a redeem place. If we go here to supplies, we can see friendship points. You can get those friendship points and you can buy stuff here. Now, like I'm still not 100% sure on this. What I've been doing is just going ahead and buying all the discounted stuff. Nothing in here is actually crazy that I've seen so far from the shop. So none of it blows my mind and go, that's what I must save for. But then you can also restock for free. So you can actually restock that and get it, because you do generate a fair few friend points. So like I said, I just buy all the discounted stuff. Like this is for upgrading gear. This is just, you know, your general mana. It's not a hell of a lot of mana, but you know, it's something. I think these ones are gifts, gives intimacy. I'm not too stressed on these, so I sort of skip them. Yeah, I mean, you can do them. It doesn't really matter. It's all cheap, and you get so many of these friend points. But yeah, you can just do that and then just buy out the stuff. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure. You know, furniture coins, maybe. I'm not too sure. I always suck at these furniture type things, so I haven't paid too much attention. I will do more digging and get an in-depth guide in that sort of stuff. But as you can see, it does cost you then past that point to refresh. So, you know, just refresh once every day, buy the cheap stuff is the way that I have been going. Then we have white petals and gold petals. You get these along the way. Now with the white petals, I haven't spent any. I'm thinking I'm just going to buy straight up gold petals. And then over here, save for like a character that I really want, because as you can see, this has 16 days remaining. The other thing you can do is you can pick up these bad boys. These are really hard. I get them from the arena shop. I don't really want to get them from here. I want to sort of save here for like characters and summons. I'll run some math in the future, talk to some more people who have played and get an idea. But definitely white petals. If you're just going to buy summons, don't buy them for 100, because as you can see, we can get 4 petals for 40. So technically 5 petals for 50. And then, 5 petals get you the summon. So instead of getting a summon for 100, you can get it for 50 if you just convert them to gold petals. But at the moment, I think my game plan is going to be wait and keep an eye on the specific character. Even though summons are all good, like I've done 60 summons in a row where I haven't got a UR, and if I can go ahead and guarantee myself a UR, it's not too bad. So that's sort of my thinking at the moment. This one's going to depend on you personally. And then as we move past that, we have trials. Dull equipment, I haven't done any farming yet, so I haven't even picked anything up from there. But Chronospace Breach, this is the PvP shop. Solid Scale, now these are for ascending to tier 4 Ascension. And these things drop really, really low rates. So for me in the PvP store, I've been picking up these. The first 3 characters that I wanted to ascend have required these. I've only had one that needed these, so I don't need the feathers as much. I'm still contemplating just buying the feathers as well, just so I've got a stack of them. But yeah, definitely if you're looking at sending something, you need every character with one. That's what I've been focusing on. I may even just pick up the summons along the way as well. But that pretty much covers the shop. And then the only other thing is going to be guilds. I just joined a random guild to have a look at it. As you can see, there's not much there. There's guild chat, member info, and that's about it. So hoping for some future guild content, but you can go ahead and jump in a guild. Like I said, I just jumped into a random one, but I think that pretty much covers it for a beginner's guide. Like I said, I will have future videos doing like a progression guide, like more specifics on what to focus on in upgrading to progress through the campaign quickly and optimize efficiency in farming and all that sort of stuff. We'll do some more PvP guides, more in-depth shop guides probably, and anything else that you guys want me to do. So you guys let me know. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.